Selamat sore. Welcome back to Bali COVID-19 update. This is for Wednesday, October 20th, 2021, and my name is Bruce. A lot of news if I can fit it in. It's been really busy here since Zoe has moved back home, and I have her up in my room all the time, and my baby kittens, so we'll see how much we can get done today. Okay, the first thing, the PPKM has been extended again for another 2 weeks until November 1st. So that started yesterday, and according to the Minister of Home Affairs, Tito Karnavian, no area from Java to Bali is at level 4, and DJI Jakarta has now dropped to level 2 from level 3, and so has Bali. So we are now on level 2. Good news, finally. And according to the Minister of Maritime Affairs and Investment, Pak Luhut, there are 54 district cities at level 2, there are 9 at level 1. And so this is good news, and if you're interested in a list of regions at level 2 and 3, you can take a look at the article below. And so let's take a look at the numbers. The numbers are looking good, although the 7-day average for new positive cases went up by 1 to 39, and the 7-day average for deaths is steady at 3. And in Indonesia as a whole, 903 new positive cases, so we're below 1,000 again, and deaths 50, so way below 100. What about testing in Indonesia? 275,456 individuals were tested yesterday with a 0.51 positive rate, and the 7-day average for positivity was 0.55%. And what about in Bali? Bali tested 43,749 individuals over the last 7 days, giving it an achievement rate of 157.98% and a 7-day positivity rate of 0.64. Yes, okay. And the all-important vaccinations. First dose, 3,392,614, 76% of the population. So we went up a little. Second dose, 2,886,024, 64.6% of the population. And if you watch or read the popular press, you know that we're up in the 90s or even at 100 according to some press reports, but that's using a target population. And yesterday, additional doses, 9,290. So people are still being vaccinated here, and going to be nothing to talk about in terms of vaccines and vaccinations after the numbers are finished. And what about the Bali numbers? New positive cases, 54. So up over the average. Recovery is 53, and deaths 2. Below average, hooray. And active cases, 479. Okay, so good news on the numbers. And what's happening in the rest of Southeast Asia? Well, today we're going to take a look at 3 places briefly. And first is Thailand. Thai citizens deny opening foreign tourist access. What's up? Okay, so the majority of Thai people, according to a recent poll, are opposed to the plan to reopen to foreign tourists. Why are they opposed? Well, because they think that tourists from other countries can carry new COVID-19 infections, that's new variants, and because of the small number of people that have been vaccinated in Thailand at this point. There were 1,392 respondents. They were asked about the Prime Minister's plan to allow tourists who have been fully vaccinated to enter Thailand as of November 1st. 59.6% of the respondents rejected the plan outright, and 60.1% rejected the plan as not being the right time. And respondents also said that Thailand could open its door to foreigners after more than 70% of the population has been vaccinated. However, business owners and employees want Thailand to reopen. Surprise, surprise. You find that everywhere in the world. So the plan at this point is that Thailand will open on November 1st to foreign tourists who are fully vaccinated. Thailand expects the increase of tourists to be 64% because November 1st coincides with the high season in the country. And it's estimated that a total of 180,000 foreign tourists will come to Thailand. That's 30,000 more than previously estimated. Okay, so is Thailand actually going to open on the 1st? I don't know, but wait and see because everybody changes, right? And what about Australia? Well, COVID-19 vaccination certificates for international travel to be available on MyGov from Tuesday. So today's Tuesday. You're going to be seeing this on Wednesday. New vaccine certificates for international travel will be available from Tuesday morning as the federal government prepares for further easing of international border restrictions. These certificates will work in a similar way to existing vaccine certificates and will be available for download through the MyGov website. But these also have a QR code so they can be scanned by foreign border officials. Because according to the Employment Minister, Stuart Robert, if you travel overseas and that overseas country requires proof of your vaccination status, you will have a copy of it. And yes, you will need it in Indonesia. And he added, the last thing the government wants for Australians when they travel overseas is to be stuck overseas because they can't prove they've been vaccinated. Good thinking. Good news for Australians who want to travel overseas, and especially for those who want to travel to Bali. You will now have digital proof, and hopefully that will mesh with the Peduli Lindungi app that you will need to use when you're here. Okay, and I know lots of Aussies commenting here, and so let me know what you think about this. Be interested to see what it looks like and how it works. And some more on our Southeast Asian neighbors. The Bureau of Immigration clarified that foreign tourists are not yet allowed to enter the Philippines despite coming from countries on their green list. Only Filipinos, Balikbayan, and those with valid and existing long-term visas from green and yellow list countries are allowed to enter. And the Bureau of Immigration said this because they've been receiving numerous inquiries from foreign tourists who want to fly to the Philippines for vacation. Of course, Philippines are a cool place. It's beautiful. I love the Philippines. And there are 49 countries on the green list, but right now, if you're a foreign tourist and you're from the green list, sorry, you can't enter the Philippines for the time being. According to BI Commissioner Jaime Morente, despite travel restrictions, we remain hopeful that international travel will be safely revived soon. Okay, so we'll keep track on what's happening with the Philippines and when they're going to open up. And what about Singapore? Another one of my favorite places. Well, what's happening there? We know the numbers have been going up, and well, I have a good friend there, and he's been working a home for a long time now. And he said, I'm getting fat. I don't go out anymore because, well, there's nothing to do. And this article, people getting first COVID-19 shot surged to over 17,000 after new vaccine differentiated measures announced. What are the differentiated measures? Very similar to what Indonesia did here in order to get people to get vaccinated. And what was that? Well, on the 9th of October, the multi-ministry task force said that unvaccinated individuals would no longer be able to dine in, go to shopping malls, hawker centers, and coffee shops, or visit attractions starting on October 13th, like last week. And what happened then? A surge. And so the previous week there were 11,000 people who got their first dose, and that jumped to 17,000 after this announcement was made. Why was this decision made? In order to protect unvaccinated individuals and reduce strain on the healthcare system. Daily cases had jumped up to about 3,000 a day when this announcement was made, and so Singapore was trying to get a hold of the situation and encourage more people to get vaccinated. Coinciding with that announcement, the task force also announced that people aged 30 and above would be invited to take a COVID-19 vaccine booster shot. And booster shots had been available for people 60 and above and 50 to 59 since September and October, respectively, and now for 30 and above. And so they're giving out boosters already. Okay, we've still got a ways to go here in terms of getting everybody with the first shot around the country. Bali's opened up, right? We're opened up, but we don't have any foreign tourists coming in yet. But Indonesia's Bali is reopening to tourists, but visitors from Australia and Singapore may have to wait. Why will they have to wait? Because they're not on the list of 19, as I mentioned the other day. And those are two of the major feeder markets for tourism in Bali. Talks with both countries are ongoing, and the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, our friend Pak Sandiaga Uno, said that the current policy is based on scientific data and guidance from a panel of epidemiologists. And he added that the list would be expanded once data from additional markets supports it. He said, and I've mentioned this before, we want to make sure that it's not going to be stop and go, but rather a smooth, incremental basis. And that's what I've said, Indonesia is going slow. There's a lot of wishful thinking that comes out in press conferences, but the underlying idea is one that I fully support, which is go slow. Don't make mistakes. Don't open up and have to close again, because that will be a disaster. Is everybody wearing masks? Yes, I wear masks all the time, even though I don't like it. And when I was out on a long walk with Zoe, and I'm making a video of that because she said, it's been a long time since you put a video of me on your YouTube channel, Grandpa. So we're going to have a little Singaraja Snippets walking tour coming up in a few days. So while I was out, I was wearing my mask, and yeah, after an hour and a half, it was soaking wet and slipping down and really uncomfortable. I hate wearing the mask, but there are reasons to do it, and so I'm going to keep doing it. But not everybody does it. Foreigners and locals, and I'll get to that in a minute. So Koster reminds Balinese foreign tourists to obey Prokes, that's the protocols. Don't wear masks to be deported. The governor reminded foreign tourists once again visiting Bali that they always have to comply with the health protocols, known as Prokes in Indonesian, for the rules implementing restrictions on community activities, which is also called PPKM, in Indonesia, where there's abbreviations for everything. Foreign tourists not wearing masks can be immediately deported. The governor said Bali provincial government will take strict action against violators committed by every tourist. Okay, wait, more was coming on this. He continued, as we have done before, there are foreign tourists in the North Kuta area, okay, you know where that is, who do not wear masks, so we will be giving a warning. If they are not orderly again, deportation. So we must be orderly. This is because we have to take care not to spread COVID-19, he said. And is this only foreigners? No. So I happen to like a couple of channels of people wandering around. There's Bobo, and I love Bobo stuff. And there's the monkeys, and I like the monkey stuff, and they do things every day. Now, I never go down to the areas that they spend most of their time in, so it's interesting for me to see what's going on down there. So I was watching one of their videos yesterday, the day before, and here's a link to that. And they were in Canggu, of course. And what was happening, you look over on the beach, and lots of people, probably the majority, were not wearing masks. Was it just foreigners? No, it wasn't. So this is the area that the governor is talking about. And so local people, Indonesians and foreigners, both not wearing masks there. Okay, so is this being carried out strictly? No, of course it's not. The government can say what they like about forcing these rules, but they are not being enforced in Canggu on a consistent basis. And if they're not being enforced on Canggu, as I've said before about other laws in Bali, if you don't enforce them, what's the point of having them? And so I would like to dump the mask, right? Especially when I'm on my motorcycle riding around by myself, or when I'm doing a walk and I'm not interacting with anybody. Now I understand that one of the problems is you don't wear a mask, you get off your motorbike, you interact with somebody, you forget to put your mask on. Okay, that's not cool. Or taking a walk, and what do? You see, when I go on my walks, I'm going in and out of stores all the time because my little shopaholic granddaughter always wants to buy something. So there's a reason for that. But if it's not going to be enforced, then get rid of it. If you want to keep it, then enforce it for everybody. Foreigners, locals, everybody. They should be wearing a mask. And in this article, Koster was also talking about what's happening with opening up. And he said if a foreigner gets a positive result with no symptoms, mild, moderate, and severe symptoms, they would be taken to a hospital that's been determined by the Bali provincial government to undergo treatment or isolation. If the results are negative, tourists will be taken to the designated hotel to undergo quarantine for 5 days. If they test positive again, well, then you're going to be isolated or in the hospital at your own expense. So this is one of the problems with coming to Bali right now, is that if you do test positive, you do have the coronavirus, you're going to be paying to be hospitalized or isolated. That's one of those things you have to think about when you're coming here. And the governor said when you are in quarantine in a hotel, you are only allowed to move in the hotel area. That's not really clear. Does that mean you can get out and wander around? As I mentioned the other day when I was talking about hotels are going to be allowed to have quarantine and non-quarantine guests there. Well, if you're in quarantine, you're not going to be able to get out and wander around. And if you look at the packages, and I have a segment coming up on hotels, they say, some of them say, you are restricted to your room. Now, you can get a nice room. Some of these hotels they're pretty nice. And actually, I was looking at a package. Well, I'll get to that in just a minute. What's the bottom line here? Wear a mask. Everybody. Indonesians, foreigners. In the last two videos, I talked about questions I had, and some have been answered and some haven't. Well, here's one that's been answered. Bali Hotels Association list of approved quarantine hotels. So, you can now go to their website and check on the approved hotels. And you can check on the packages available, although at least one hotel still has a quarantine period listed as 8 days. And what kind of packages are available? Well, I just took a look at a couple. The Taksu Sanur has a package of a single rate at 7 million rupiahs for 5 days and 4 nights, accommodation at a junior suite room, and that's per person, and a double rate of 11,650,000. What you get with that? That's inclusive of service charge and government tax, daily breakfast, lunch, and dinner with choices of menu. Now, some of the hotels have a set menu. This one has a choice of menu. In-room complimentary mineral water for the entire 5 days, in-room tea and coffee facilities for the entire 5 days, 5 pieces of daily laundry, non-accumulative. Boy, this sounds pretty good. One airport transfer to the hotel, 2 PCR test, health monitoring, and insurance, in-room hand sanitizer and face mask, 10% food and beverage discount for a la carte menu, and Wi-Fi throughout the hotel. Sounds pretty good to me. And terms and conditions: no-show and early departure will result in forfeit of 100% of the total package. Guests are not allowed to go outside the room or hotel except for the PCR test. An appointed health officer would guide for this purpose. The daily meals are delivered to room doors at selected hours. No housekeeping services during the quarantine period. Staff will not have direct contact with the guests. The hotel will provide room amenities for the entire 5 days, 4 nights stay. That sounds pretty good. Made it real clear here, you're not allowed to leave your room. They're going to be delivering your food to your door, or ring the bell and they're gone and you get it. So that's one, a junior suite. And the Grand Hyatt Bali brings quarantine experience to a whole new level by offering an elegant setting to start your getaway. To ensure a safe holiday, seclude yourself and your loved ones with the Grand Green Zone package. The Grand Green Zone package invites you to stay comfortably for 5 nights with benefits including daily breakfast, daily set lunch, and daily set dinner, as well as 5 pieces of complimentary laundry per day and return airport transfers. The package also includes 3 times PCR swab tests and 30 days overseas travel accident insurance. The package is available at Indonesian rupiah 14,910,000 for single occupancy and 22,010,000 for double occupancy. Twice the price. Grand Hyatt though. Grand Hyatt's nice. There are other hotels listed there. You can go to the website, link is below, and you can find a place to stay. Once we have planes coming into Bali, and you can get a visa. A few little glitches here and there, but yeah, that's the way it goes. But good news about being able to look at hotels. And so you want to come into Indonesia. Well, you need to have a number of things that we talked about many times, and so you have to be fully vaccinated, and you need to pass the COVID-19 screening, and you have to have health insurance of 1 billion rupiahs per traveler. Now, that could be a problem for some people, but health coverage available at Bali Airport. Okay. The government is selling health insurance. So if you show up in Bali and you don't have health insurance, the government will provide health insurance on arrival with true premium levels of 800,000 rupiahs and 1 million rupiah. Pak Sandiaga Uno said that health insurance provided by the government to foreign travelers provides coverage to a maximum level of 1.6 to 2 billion rupiahs depending on the policy purchase, and coverage period of 30 to 60 days from the date of purchase. So if you're coming in for 30 days and we don't know exactly how long the visa is going to be for yet, well, you are going to be covered if you're not covered already. So good news. Good news, I guess. I don't really know about health insurance, and so I'm not sure what kind of insurance you can get out there. Can you get insurance to come in if you're traveling and you're going to be in here for 2 weeks or 4 weeks or a week, and will it be cheaper? Because this isn't exactly cheap. 800,000 to 1 million rupiah. Now 1 million rupiahs is at this point, what, about $70 US? So maybe you have some better insurance that you can use. If you do, leave a comment below, because that will be helpful to me if I talk about this in the future, and for anybody else that watches these videos. And why are no tourists coming in on this new program? Well, according to Saga, it's because of the lack of scheduled flights. Okay. And Saga said that communications are underway with operators of charter flights from Russia and the Ukraine. Russia and the Ukraine. Well, here's a story that just came out. Don't have time to do it today. Talk about it on Sunday. It's called You Reap What You Sow. Russians party despite record COVID figures. Critics blame Kremlin denial and mixed messaging for pursuit of normality as deaths top 1,000 a day. Think Russia's going to be on this list of people coming in? I don't know. Did Saga say anything else in his press conference? Well, yes, he did. He said that the 35 hotels that are certified to receive quarantine guests will also be able to receive regular guests, which I talked about. And he said that stringent health protocols are being enforced in areas and accommodation for quarantine and non-quarantine guests are strictly separated, not strictly limited, strictly separated. And watch the section on hotels, because wow, some of those hotel plans look pretty cool if anybody actually comes in here, and when they do, because they do, because we're going to think positive today, right? Because it's Wednesday and it's a beautiful day, and well, my granddaughter's in school and my youngest daughter is graduating officially in another 2 days, and so I'm in a wonderful mood. Time for a wrap-up. And first, apologize for the sound in the numbers and the section on health insurance. My microphone went out and I had to use the built-in mic on the camera here, which is not the best, as you can tell by the audio. So what do we have? Things are looking good. Numbers are good. We went up a little bit with the average, but that's okay. It only went up by 1. We're still down at low numbers, and things seem to be under control here. Vaccinations are going on, and people, well, some people are wearing masks and some people aren't. That's a problem. We don't want to get lax at this point. We're at the 20th of October and we have no scheduled flights yet. As far as I know right now, there was a flight, an Emirates flight was scheduled and was canceled. If anybody has heard of any flights, let me know in the comments. And well, just because a flight is booked does not mean that it's actually going to show up. And so we're still waiting on that. And according to Santiago, he said that the reopening of Bali to direct flights is a trial run. And so we're just going to have to be sabar, patient. Things are happening, but not all at once. In the last couple of videos I talked about questions and answers, and so I appreciate the comments, people adding information and clarifying things that I wasn't aware of, and starting the discussion about some other issues, so that's great. So one of the good things is that the quarantine hotels are up now, and they've been approved, and so you can take a look at that. Even if you can't get in right now, you can take a look and do some window shopping for where you want to stay if you are going to come in. And was a question about visas and what kind of visas. And so according to the circular number MHH03GRO1052021, one of the many circulars that added tourism to the B211 visit, online applications have to be made to the Director General of Immigration through a sponsor. And that sponsor must be a corporation that is a travel agency or tourism related. I don't know who these sponsors are. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot that are going to pop up. Just have to take a look around. How much is that going to cost? I'm not sure either. If anybody finds out about any sponsors that are advertising visas to come in, and as of right now, the tourist visas were not being issued yet, as far as I know. But they should be soon. And if you're not sure about this, you can always check the immigration website, and always safe. If you're planning on coming here, before you do anything, check with the local consulate or embassy, Indonesian embassy in your home country or city. Check online with the immigration. Check here every Wednesday and Sunday. Things are updated, and the information I have on Wednesday and Sunday is current as of the time that I post, which doesn't mean that it won't change 5 minutes later, because if you've been watching this channel regularly, you know things change rapidly here. And another question was, will holders of B211 business visas, Kitas visas be permitted to fly directly to Bali? And according to the circular number 85-2021, it says Jakarta and Manado are the only entry points for non-tourism visa holders, while Ngurah and Batam Airport are the only entry points for tourism visa holders. Don't book any flights until you're sure of what's going on. Make sure you get everything in order before you start to fork out some money. And at this point, you have to fly directly into Bali. You cannot fly in transit, which means you can't fly from the US to Japan and then hop on a plane in Japan and fly in here. Right now, if you really wanted to come to Bali, what's the safest way to come? You get a B211 business visa and fly into Jakarta and do your quarantine in Jakarta and then fly into Bali. That's if you really want to get here. If you want to wait and see what's going to happen with the flying direct into Bali to do your quarantine here, well, you can hang on and you can wait, but it may be a few weeks or longer. I hope not longer. Then there's the issue of the quarantine, and yes, it is 5 days. There's no discussion right now of changing it to anything else. Is it a deal breaker for people? Yes, it's going to be a deal breaker for people. Will the government dump it eventually? I'm thinking that they will. Will there be VOAs? I'm thinking that that's another possibility. As Santiago Uno said, this is a trial run, and so nothing is certain. So what's the bottom line? If you want to come to Bali, you want to come to Bali right now, apply for the B211 and list business as your purpose. Apparently they're still giving those out, and then you can fly into Jakarta. When do I think things are going to really get rolling? I'm still sticking with December here, although it's getting to look riskier and riskier to say that. By December, things may have straightened out. Some of the countries that have been invited to come in, the 19 countries, may have flights coming in already. As I said in the last video, the airport is offering great deals for people to land here. We just have to wait and see. So I'm keeping a positive attitude right now about this. The government's doing what they can do. They're working their way through this, and we're just going to have to, as I keep saying, be patient, Saga. Thanks for viewing. If you found this useful, helpful, give it a thumbs up, please. I appreciate it. And if you didn't, of course, you can always give it a thumbs down. And if you want updates Wednesday and Friday, you can subscribe. That's that little icon in the bottom right-hand corner. Be kind to someone today. If you're in Bali, follow the program, please. Wear a mask, social distance, be cool. If you're planning to come into Bali, keep thinking positive. And I'll see you on Sunday.